Welcome to Teaching in Color, the podcast where we empower teachers, redefine education, and amplify voices. Here, we dive into real stories, bold conversations, and the challenges and triumphs of educators making a difference. Whether you're in the classroom, the community, or just here for inspiration, this is your space. Let's talk, let's grow, and let's make change together. This is Teaching in Color. Hey, teacher besties. Welcome back to another episode of Teaching in Color, the podcast where we uplift and amplify the voices of educators making an impact and beyond in the classroom. I'm your host, Brandon, and today we have an inspiring guest whose work as an educator, author, and leader is changing the way students engage with literacy and social emotional learning. You probably can see him already. He's hyped. I can tell he is ready to go. Joining us today is Johnnie Moultrie, a assistant principal, author, and creator of the Adventures of Alex and Gabbie, the children's book series. He also is the mind behind the SEL curriculum for Courageous Hearts Academy, helping to integrate social emotional learning into classrooms in meaningful ways. From leadership to education to storytelling and representation, we have so much to discuss. So let's just jump right in. Thank you so much for being here, Johnnie. It is a pleasure and honor. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for the invite. Thank you. What's up, y'all?
Oh my gosh. I am super excited. I know they're excited too. You are excited. I just am so excited to have you here. But here at Teaching in Color podcast, we start off our episode with this one question. What has been your journey into education like? What has it looked like? What were you doing before and, where are you now?
So, fun fact, I'm a dancer. And so
Hi.
I was actually working at Walt Disney World before I started teaching,
Wow.
as like a character performer and doing all those things. And so like that
Mhm.
was my passion. And then I realized Disney like wasn't really where I needed to be. And that
Yeah.
was okay. And so I moved over back to Greensboro, North Carolina, Aggie Pride. I went to North Carolina A&T State
Yes.
University. And so I kind of went back there and established a life for myself at TGI Fridays. And I was like, I have a whole degree. I'm coming to
Yes.
Disney and
I
like,
love TGI Fridays.
it's hard now. But and then I'm actually an artist. And so I
Mhm.
went to A&T for art. And I'm like, I know I can do something. So I'm like, my professors always told me like become an art teacher, like start off as an
Yeah.
art teacher. And that's what I did. And then I started working with middle school students, bless the middle school students, but I realized my passion was with elementary kids.
Yeah.
And
Bless the teachers of middle school. What? Okay.
damn, okay. And so I moved right over to the elementary school world, and then I realized, like, yo, I love second graders. Second graders are super, super dope. They can tie their shoes, but then like they can still love on you super, super hard and still have that like emotional connection. So
Definitely.
I actually got out the classroom of the specials realm, like with art, and I got into the general ed realm, and that was
Hmm.
super, super awesome because there was the meat, the love, and all that
Yes.
really like experienced with the love of teaching.
That connection. Yeah, for
Right.
sure. Um, you transition from, you're saying Walt Disney. That is, first of all, those people work from
Sun
sun
up,
up to sundown.
sun down. Right, right.
Like that is a lot of work in itself. But you transitioned, from that to a career in education, and now you're an assistant principal. How did that transition come about, and what does it look like now?
So like I always felt like, yeah, I love the classroom, but like I
Hmm.
wanted to see my impact on the adult realm. I wanted to
Yes.
see how can I really like shape the lives of adults that are teaching these kids because I felt like I had a passion for being able to like mold and shape a teacher to kind of
Yes.
like the kind of ways that I really like teaching. I like to stand on the tables. I like to make songs. I like to
Yeah.
dance with the kids. Like, so I wanted to instill that in teachers as well, which brought me to the
Hmm.
leadership side.
Wow, I love that. We need more educators like that and administrators and leaders just like that. So, as an educator yourself and an author, how do you balance leadership in schools and also your passion for writing?
It can be tough. Look, it can be
Yeah.
really tough, but honestly, the kids are my passion. And
Yeah.
so the Adventures of Alex and Gabby actually stemmed from two of my scholars that I used to have, that I used to teach over COVID. They
Yeah.
brought the excitement, the love, the joy, the energy all through a computer screen. And they were
Hmm.
actually siblings. And they reminded me also of me and my sister.
Yeah.
We used to go and have playtime and imagination time. We used to be really creative and drawing a lot of things. And then, like, having make believe time that we're actually doing this, that what we drew on the paper. And so
Definitely.
that inspiration from the kids is what I continue to get fueled by every single day, every single moment. Yes, we have positive experiences, and yes, we have some really challenging experiences. I mean, no day is the same. However, like, I've always learned something from one of my scholars. And
Yeah.
so it's always a learning cycle. It's always just this revolving door of like, what can I pick their brain about today? They were actually the people that first read my book and gave me my feedback. Like,
Wow.
and so I'm over here like, all right, are they gonna like the book? Or are they really bang with the images? Um,
Yeah.
but all in all, like, they are the main source of like what drives me.
Wow. That is powerful. And having your students be the first people to give you feedback and to view your work. I know that was definitely life changing and like something that instilled a sense of purpose.
Yeah.
It already was there, but like gave you more of a purpose, right?
Yeah.
Um, but looking into like your journey a little bit more and seeing, some of the moments like you're sharing right now, can you share any more pivotal moments that really, solidified that career in education?
Yes, it was not the most positive experience,
Yeah.
but it shaped where I am today. So I used to work at a school, and I had an administrator at the time that wanted me to go the direction that they wanted me to go in.
Yeah.
They didn't see me being like the fun, spontaneous teacher because at the time TikTok was really starting to become popping. And so, like,
Yeah.
I used to do the TikToks with them and like just have all the fun, but she wasn't really here for it. And
Hmm.
so she tried to like shut it all down, shut the operation down.
Yeah.
And so the board of ed actually like reached out to me and they said, we see some of the stuff that you're doing, like we want
Hmm.
to actually experience that. We want to send a car for you, and then we want to like put you in a hotel, and we want
Yeah.
to have you at our conference so you can like show the
Hmm.
people what you are doing. And I was supposed to take off of work. I had to take off of work, and she was like, I'm not approving it.
What?
And I'm like, this is a once in a lifetime moment, and
Yes.
I gotta take it. So she wound up not approving the day, but I wound up going anyway.
Yes.
I think I just took a day without pay or something like that. But
Yeah.
like that moment when I got to stand in front of people that make these curriculums and really make an impact for our state, it's kind of like,
Hmm.
oh, snap, like this is dope. I
Yeah.
get to show other people what I'm doing in the classroom. Therefore, I want to be contagious. Like, I want to
Yes.
spread like wildfire. I want other teachers to see this and adapt this mindset because, like, it works. Like, nobody wants to sit in the classroom, folded hands, staring at the screen. Like, no, like, hop on that table. Like, wear some
Yes.
fuzzy slippers if you want to. Wear pajamas one day because it's like that connection that's really going to get like the kids like to really have it and want it. So
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love how you bring that up. The dynamic and perspective of what um, people perceive a black male educator to be.
yeah,
I've seen that firsthand. I've experienced it firsthand. Maybe being the that authoritarian that they want, someone to be over disciplined, or a athletic figure, or some kind of fig. There's so many things that they put us in those boxes. And I love how you actually broke down those walls and stuck true to who you were.
yeah.
Um, but looking into our next segment, the adventures of Alex and Gabby, and then your literary work, what inspired you to create the Adventures of Alex and Gabby series? You touched on it a little bit, but what message do you hope young readers take away from the stories?
Yeah, so going back to my two scholars that I used to teach, and they showed me that love and excitement through just reading and creativity and having adventure time, and it brought me back to like me and my sister. And so I really, really want kids out here and even adults to like go back to their childhood and all really think about like started from a box. We all had
Hmm.
that cardboard box and we drew on the cardboard box and we were just like, yeah, like let me go inside the
Yes.
cardboard box and like have my adventure time, my imagination time. And so that's how the book, like for the most part, starts off in every actual book in the series. There's
Hmm.
some sort of like imagination moment where it's like, all right, I think we're gonna go here. Let's, have that time where we can just escape life, escape reality, and just go. And I want more kids to do that because I feel like it's just something that contributed to my childhood and something that made
Yeah.
me love just life and be happy. We're so consumed by technology. The kids have technology accessible everywhere, but
Every
like
day, every
what
hour.
every hour, right? Even in school,
Yes.
like we have a
Yes.
computer class, and so it's like, what happened to the time where we can stop, draw, where we could think, where we can play, where we could just, just be ourselves, be kids. And at the end of the day, I
Yes.
just want kids to be kids.
Wow, I love that. That's something that I craved as a child. And so
Mhm.
like I love that you're putting it out into the world, into the universe for kids to see. I craved as a child like imagination and being able to be free with imagination. We sometimes like see our students daydreaming or,
Right.
things like that, and you're like, snap out of it, like, but it's a moment for them to get away, and especially in the times that we're in and things that, students may or may not understand, but they're living. Give them an opportunity to just imagine and daydream and step away from their reality. So I love that.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
But your books incorporate a lot of imaginative adventures. How important is creativity in early childhood learning?
It's super important. Like we
Yes.
have right here the latest book, Beyond the Stars. We're going outer space, and like when you're
Yes.
going outer space, what do you think of? Like the planets. You're thinking about the stars. You're thinking about a lot of good stuff. Or like we're going down to the ocean, and so like
Hmm.
we're here sparking the imagination for like kids to want to be marine biologists or even like astronauts or even like
Yeah.
in the first book, Jungle Time, where they might want to go into the
Wow.
jungle and learn about different animals or different plants. And so it's super important to catch it at a young age because
Hmm.
then it's like I activated something. I
Yes.
activated some sort of like ding, like, oh snap, maybe when I get older, I can travel to the ocean or I can go outer space or I want to like learn more. And so I'm giving kids the opportunity to like fiend for education but in an artistic way. I want them to
Yes.
learn like you can do this. You can go to these places if you put your mind to it, but like you got to know about it first. And if no one else is going to teach you, Johnny D. Moultrie will teach you,
Yes.
and I'm going to show you in a super cool way.
Yes. And I love how you connect everything across your own experiences, maybe, or
Hmm.
your own life, your own story.
Yeah.
Looking at your experience as an educator, how has it influenced, the books and the storytelling, the themes of the books itself?
Yeah, yeah. And so like a lot of these places like I want to go to. Like
Yeah.
I'm so curious about like going down into the ocean and everyone is always like, I don't want to go down there, but what's really, really down in the ocean? You know what I'm saying? There's
They
some,
said it's aliens down there.
we don't
That's
know
what they
what's
said.
going on. Right. We got some new species down there, but like
Right.
something like that, or like I've always had curiosity in outer space. Like, what does the sun look like close up? Or what
Hmm.
does Earth look like far away? Or even like in the jungle, or even like some future books that might come out, like they might meet some dinosaurs. Like, what
Yeah.
were dinosaurs like back then? And so I think it's super cool because these are places that I still inquire about. These are places that I still shape and mold into my experiences as an educator, even outside the classroom, even in the programs that I might create for our families and friends, or let's say an event that might take place. Like I still have
Hmm.
to do some sort of research to figure out how can I capture these kids' heart. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's amazing work, and I that leads me to this next question because you really, again, are multifaceted in everything that you do. And
Thank
this
you.
next question, of course, this next question, is very intriguing to me. Black. building legacies and creating kingdoms,
Yeah.
explores Black culture in a deeper way. Can you share what inspired this book and what readers can expect?
Yeah, definitely. So like COVID time, okay, so rewind. I always felt
Yeah.
like I had something to say. I
Hmm.
I speak out. I don't have a problem with being the voice. If people are
Yes.
nervous or scared to say something, I'm like, I got you. Like I can do it for like I'm good. Like just tell me what you need.
Yeah.
And so like having that and always having this mindset of let your voice be heard. Like it's
Hmm.
okay. And so through a lot of praying and a lot of fasting and just a lot of listening, it's kind of like, what do you really want to say? And
Yeah.
so I had a dream. And as a dreamer, you get a lot of different things and you write a lot of things down. And I felt like in my dream, I wanted to tell a story about education. But as I kept praying more, I got the deeper meaning behind it. And it's not just like talking about education, it's talking about how your culture, we have to do a lot more when it comes
Yes.
to the things that other cultures might have easier. And
Yes.
so I said, okay, bet let's keep going with this. And so I do a lot of research, and through research and just through figuring out what it is that I really want to say, I was like, you
Hmm.
want to tell our story from your viewpoint, a young
Yes.
African American male who has a lot to say. What's your viewpoint on it? And so I did that, and I, of course, in my research, I was like, yeah, I don't like this. I don't like how this played out. This is
Yeah.
not cool, but this is our story. And so through Black building legacies and creating kingdoms, I spoke about how we were able to build our legacy as Black people and created our kingdom and our empire, and how I want to contribute to that. So it was a great experience. It was my first book, actually. It came right out of COVID in 2021, and I was super, super grateful for the impact that it has. It's more of a young adult book, and so it's a little
Yeah.
bit more complicated in the reading. So definitely not a children's book, but it splits part of my podcast. So I used to
Hmm.
do a podcast called "What Black Boys Need,"
Yeah.
and it basically spoke about how I felt Black boys needed love, compassion, mental health counseling, like all these different things that I felt like Black boys really needed in order
Hmm.
to feel like one and feel like, they're okay. And so outbirthed a lot through Black in that book. And
Yeah.
we're here with more books. And so I have a lot to say.
Yes, but I love how that one moment, in COVID, especially after COVID, how it kind of shaped that trajectory for yourself and making that impact long lasting. For you, you talk about culture. What role do culturally rich stories play in shaping perspectives for students and also self identity?
Yeah, it's us. It's who
Yes.
we are. Culture is literally what we live and breathe.
Hmm.
When I was in college, North Carolina A&T, that Aggie pride ran through my blood. So
Yeah.
as I grew up, I had a great upbringing. And so
Yes.
I was not in like a more urban type of school system. It was very diverse. And
Hmm.
so I felt like the culture came really in college. And when I got that experience, when I got that Aggie pride and I was really able to connect with like-minded individuals, it just really like brought this like like
Yes.
you fiend for it, and that's what I
Yes.
think Black was actually as well. My first book, it really like defined me and how I love culture and how I love like bringing out like you Black and you amazing young man, like
Yeah.
you literally do the thing, and that's that message that I really like to like blurt out a lot as well. Like yes,
Hmm.
we are Black, fine and educated, but also like
Yes.
Black man, like we see you, like Black man, you
Yes.
are amazing. Black man, like you can do it. Like I can do it, you can do it. All you gotta do is
Yeah.
just go for it and like kick it into overdrive. And so if I could say anything to anyone, if you don't hear nothing else, like Black people, we see you, Black man, we see you, Black woman, we see you, we love you, and it's all about the culture. Do it for the culture. You know how they used to say do it for the
You're
vine.
right.
Do it for the hashtag do it for the culture. Period. That's it.
Yes, you're right. Like that is, thank you for bringing that to the podcast and like being that voice. I mean, again, you didn't, no one's. it's your own power and your voice that you're using, especially for this. And, looking at the cover of your books and, reading along and looking at that journey, like there's representation there. You see the little black girl and you see the little black boy on the cover, and, kids can relate to that. They see themselves. It's representation means so much more
Yes, it
than
does.
what we think.
Yep.
So I love that you created that world for yourself.
Yeah, yeah, appreciate it.
But looking into our next segment and transitioning, I want us to talk about social and emotional learning and then also educational impact. You created the SEL curriculum for Courageous Hearts Academy. Why is social emotional learning such a crucial part in education today?
Yeah, so in my years of education, I've seen some really sad stuff.
Yes.
And pertaining to our young boys, black, white, brown, purple, but it's just like our men, our young boys are really struggling. And I've seen things like not being able just to control their anger, or when they get upset or angry, this is how they react. And
Yes.
it's like at some point, this can't happen. It can't
Yeah.
continue to happen. And I felt obligated. It's like, what are you going to do to make your impact? What are you going to do to make your change? You might not be able to change the entire world, but at least I said I tried, because
Right.
it's kind of like I can't just sit here and do nothing. Like,
Yes.
I feel like I have to do something. And so what did I do? I created an SEL curriculum that stemmed from the Adventures of Alex and Gabbie. That is kind of like, these are the things you're seeing in the school system. What's some of the research based stuff that's going on, but then
Mhm.
also what's some of the stuff that you've experienced? Because if we being legit, like a lot of times when we go into these teacher trainings, they're throwing research, research, research,
Yes.
research. But then we're like, have you been in the classroom? Have you been in the classroom? You making this decision, but have you been in the classroom?
Hmm.
We've all thought it, but I'm gonna say it. You haven't been in the classroom, but I have. I'm currently still in the school, and so let me help you out a little bit. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna include some of your research too. Don't worry.
Yeah.
But also, you're gonna get some of Johnnie D in there as well, because like, wait, yeah, like they're crying out for help. Honestly,
Yes, they
our
are.
kids are crying out for help, and sometimes they don't get it at home. Um, and sometimes the only time they get a positive role model is at school. So crazy thing today, I had to sit a young man on my lap, because like I knew the trajectory and the I knew all that good stuff. And so like
Yeah.
I was like, come here. I was like, just talk to me. Like, what's up? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's
Yeah.
really going on? And sometimes that's all they really need. Um, Also, a hug can go a long way.
A
A
long
hug
way.
can go a long way. And so just keeping that in the forefront, like that's why Courageous Stars Academy really came about.
Yeah. And then, you bring up a really good point, especially with like how we're moving in society today. Like everything is so fast paced.
Yeah.
Everything is so like blase da in a sense where it's like, man, you have feelings, you have emotions. Okay, well that'll we can push that to the side.
Yeah,
We
for
got to
sure.
worry about we
Yeah.
got to worry about what's at hand right now.
Mhm.
Where that a lot of that breeded from COVID, but long before then, it was a buildup of black and brown students being like,
Mhm.
we can't express how we feel.
Yep.
I remember as a kid myself being like, will they really understand how I
Mhm.
feel or who I am? So,
Mhm.
I love how you blend that into your campus, into your work, and you
Yeah.
make that accessible to every educator.
Yep. Yep. I think it's super important and needed. So
Yeah.
that's what it's all about. It's that hard work.
Um, Yeah, like I love that. So, some of the strategies that you brought up, like simple things such as like just having that conversation, giving a hug. What are some strategies educators can use to bring SEL into their classrooms? What can they do?
So to start off, it's the relationship aspect. That
Hmm.
is such the thing that's like thrown out there a lot, but you have to have some sort of relationship with the kid in
For
order
sure.
to start to want to like dive into that deep part because it's a trust thing. And so the way the curriculum is set up, like we're going through this journey with Alex and Gabby, and we're going on adventures and we're doing all these amazing things, but we're building trust along the way. We're learning how to trust our friends, we're learning how to trust our peers, we're learning how to be safe around people that we're just meeting, keeping our hands to ourselves, those type
Yes.
of mindsets, like really just making sure that that's the first thing that we have.
Yeah.
And then also bringing them into like circle. So it's very
Yes.
simple, but being on the carpet, having that
Mhm.
area where you all are one, you all are a family, and that's what Courageous Hearts Academy implements. Like this brother sister model. Like the person next to you is your brother. The person next to you will always be your sister. Think of me
Yeah.
as like teacher mom, teacher dad, but like we're really like in this thing to make it like, hey, like I care for you and this
Yeah.
is who I want you like I want to make sure I care for you and I want to make sure that no harm is done to you. And so it's teaching them along the way through pillars and through quarters and through the different books how we can make sure that we are being a courageous heart.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love that. Circles, like SEL circles and time with your students really makes a difference. Connection makes a difference. Building a relationship and a bond. I mean, it's
See?
not something that you can do in just a moment. It's a build up and a continuous like learning experience. And I've noticed even for myself, just going like asking questions about their interest or about their own lives really does make a difference and noticing and paying attention to that.
Yep.
But I want us to transition into the next segment where we talk about diversity and representation in education.
Yep.
Um, as a Black male educator, I have experienced many a challenge of being in the school system, of being a teacher and educator. What challenges and opportunities have you encountered in your career?
Mm. Some of the obvious of
Yeah.
like being the disciplinarian or
Mm-hmm.
the first person they go to for the athletics, that's all well and good. But my first
Yeah.
priority is these kids, um,
Yeah.
making sure they get what they need. Also, the experience with my administrator having a plan for me and not the plan that I wanted to be, that threw me for a loop.
Yes.
And it's really interesting how that went, but the outcome turned out to be look where we're at now.
Yeah.
And then also sometimes it can be tough maneuvering in an environment where there isn't as many male presence
Mm-hmm.
in the school as it could be, let alone you being the only black male.
Yeah.
That was tough because it it's like I felt like I didn't have anyone. I felt
Yeah.
like I didn't have someone that I could lean on. It was one-sided. And it was kind of like, well, what do you do from here? Like
Yeah.
where do you go from here? And that's when I created my own voice. And that's when
Mhm.
I decided to do something different. I stopped trying to be the teacher that I had when I was younger. I stopped trying to be the teacher that I saw other people be. Like when you create your own voice, and you realize it and you actually start to like blossom and bloom into that fruition, you are unstoppable. Like you are a beast. And
Yes.
I encourage everyone to literally create your own voice, find your own voice, even if you're in a school where you're stuck, even if you're in a job where you're stuck. It's just like find where you can fit in and don't make the excuse for it. Like find out how you can do it, push for it, and make your voice known. Because at the end of the day, that's one thing they can't take from you. And if you stay true to who you are and you stand firm in who you are, God got you. God always
Yeah.
got you. So that's what it is.
You're completely right. I hear a lot of parallels and connection and like, translation and just correlation amongst all the things that you're saying that I've experienced. And, there's many a black male in education or just men in education who feel that same way.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that to the forefront because that's also something just to think about, being in spaces where it is predominantly female run, having to adjust in that sense. And then also, you know, let alone you're the only male on campus, one of the only men on campus, but
That's
you're also
yeah. That's
So
rough.
probably the only black man there. So
Yeah,
it's just,
yeah,
it's hard.
yeah.
But our next question, what can schools do to ensure diverse representation, both in curriculum and then leadership as well?
So within the curriculum, make sure you have representation from all cultures in your books.
Hmm.
Like we push reading so heavy, yet we're giving them one type of book to read with one person's face on the cover, and we're
Yes.
expecting our kids to say, yes, I want to read this and be excited about reading. Where's the
Hmm.
love of learning? Where's the love of reading in the curriculums? Where's the love of books where I can have Alex and Gabby, but I might like, I have brown hair and ponytails. Hey, that's me. Or
Yeah.
like, you might have like Alex. Alex has a high top fade.
Yeah.
Our young males out here like with the curly high top fade, like they're doing the thing, and so they see themselves in these books, or even in other cultures, they might relate to them like, oh hey, like my nose looks like that, but it's
Yeah.
not this one-sided one picture. This is all
Hmm.
we're looking at for our whole year. That's not cutting it. Like, go ahead
Yes.
and get you some Courageous Hearts Academy up in there. Like, like, go ahead and get you a couple of Adventures of Alex and Gabby books because, like, that matters, and that's good. That's what's gonna take your test scores because that's what the folks love. Like, it's the test scores that drive. So,
It's
if
all
you
about
want,
the data.
all about the data. So, if you want to see some improved data, well, get some books that your kids are gonna want to enjoy reading and looking at.
Hmm.
Like, even if it's a math worksheet, throw Alex and Gabby up on that math worksheet if you need to. If it's gonna get the
Yes.
kids to buy in, like why wouldn't you take the extra step to buy in? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it that just doesn't that hey, y'all got it.
It,
Look, we know
yeah.
what we need to do.
It completely definitely does make a difference. Like, I've noticed like with even my students, just like throwing their names into like questions,
Yep.
or names that are like, maybe familiar to them in their
Right.
culture. It
Yeah.
definitely does make it. And they're like, oh, well, like that's my name or that's someone I know with that name.
Yep. Yep.
It just makes a difference. But you work in a leadership space right now within education. How do you hope your work, both in education and literature, impact the next generation of students, especially students of color?
Yeah, definitely. So I want to first be able to listen to the kids. A lot of the
Mhm.
times as leaders, we are quick to bark back, got. Like
Yeah.
it's like we're always thinking of what to rebuttal, but has anyone ever sat down and listened to our kids and what they really have to say? Because you're really going to learn a lot. You're going to learn what's going on at home. You're going to learn how their educational experiences. You're going to learn how they feel about you and their teachers and the people around them. Like you're going to learn a lot. And so it's my hope that while I'm in this position of leadership, that I hear the kids and I'm able to implement that by coaching teachers and coaching teachers
Yes.
to be better and working alongside my colleagues and learning from each other. But at the end of the day, like if there was no kids, there would be no school. Like we would
Yes.
not be in the positions that we're in if there were not kids in the world. And so because there's kids in the world, now we have an obligation. No matter if you chose the profession or if the profession chose you, you are in this position now and you have to be a life changer because they're looking at you. And so I want to be a life changer. I want to be that role model that kids can look up to and see like, yeah, like I want to be Mr. Mochi one day. Like
Yeah.
he's been an author, like he had a podcast and he was able to do this. And I think that's super dope. And who wouldn't want that positive role model in their life? Someone that's going to love on them. Everybody love love. Like I love love. I'm a lover boy to the heart. And
Yeah.
so like that portrays in family, friends, partner, like
Yeah.
everything, especially with the kids. And so like with that is like I gotta love on the kids hard and I gotta learn from them because they're gonna be the ones taking care of me one day.
Yes, you are completely right. Everybody say love. I love how you bring that aspect into your classroom and just your heart and passion into education. But looking at our final segment, final thoughts and advice, what advice do you have for educators who want to incorporate culturally relevant teaching and SEL into their classrooms?
Do your research. Do
Mhm.
your research and do your research. And when I say do your research, it's not just about going on the computer and typing and going on Google.
Yes.
No, it's about living in it. Live in the moment. My research really came from my experience in the classroom. I'm
Yes.
still learning to this day. So making sure that you take the time and actually like be in the moment, experience what you experience, whether that's good or bad. No day is the same. But at the end of the day, like, love on yourself, love on your kids, keep the culture alive, y'all. Keep the culture alive. We got to keep it in the schools. And it doesn't have to be literally you slapping something up on the board. It can just be the way you walk, the way you talk, how you dress. Like they are looking at us and they are looking at everything we do. And so stay true to yourself, believe in yourself, never give up, keep your head up,
Yeah.
stay in it, and no doubt keep praying. Love God.
I love that. Here on the podcast, we love to give our flowers and also just congratulate people on any achievement, anything coming up, big or small. We love to put it here and put it on a platform. Is there anything you have coming up that people can follow your work, support your work, just congratulate you on, like anything?
Well, we have the next book in the series. So we actually just released a book, The Adventures of Alex and Gabbie Beyond the Stars. But
Yes.
the next book coming at the end of Black History Month will be The Adventures of Alex and Gabbie, A New World. And we are experiencing different cultures and different pieces of cultures around the world that Alex and Gabbie could just visit and learn from in their imaginative way. You guys can follow me on Instagram at Johnnie D Writes. That's JohnnieD, and then Writes, WRITES. And Amazon, and all of your local
Yes.
retail stores, Barnes and Noble, God is good, Books a
Yes.
Million, Walmart. And so Johnnie D is becoming a household name and a
Yes.
worldwide phenomenon. And this is an empire, y'all. And honestly, this is for us. This is for the voices that are scared to talk. This is for the voices this is all for all my kinfolk,
Yeah.
my brothers, my sisters. This is all for us. And so, like, if I win, we all win.
You are completely right. Um, I want to really just highlight again, like the work that you do and being where you are. I also will make sure that people can follow you. You can view Johnny's Instagram, any social media platform, go to the episode description. It will be there, and then it'll pop up right above his head in three, two, one. And just to make sure to look at, support his work, be there for him. And again, like he's saying, he's there to support people and anyone whose voice feels like they have been taken away or diminished. So thank you so much for being here, Johnny. This has been such a powerful conversation. I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for really being there and showing up and representing Black men, Black people in such an exquisite way. Thank you so much. Your passion for education, storytelling, and social and emotional learning is inspiring, and I know our listeners are going to take so much away from this episode.
Hey, shout out, shout out. Thank you for the opportunity, B.
Yeah, yeah, of course. For those listening, be sure to check out The Adventures of Alex and Gabby and Johnny's other incredible books. If you're looking to incorporate more SEL into your teaching, his curriculum, Courageous Hearts Academy, is a great resource. Don't forget to follow Teaching in Color for more impactful conversations just like this one. And if you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review, please. Until next time, keep making a difference in your classrooms and beyond. I will see you guys soon.